Hi, this is Winner, and welcome to Winscope Podcast. So, for this episode, I have a topic that I really want to talk about, which has been very important to me lately, and that is how I've discovered that sleep is seriously underrated. And I say that because I myself, for a very long time, especially during my younger adult years, did not take sleep very seriously at all. And what I mean by that is that I totally underestimated the impact of not getting enough sleep until I started consistently getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night, that I realized I've been handicapping my mental capacity this whole time. And I cannot overstate how much sleep is the key to truly unlocking your potential. Especially now that I'm traveling quite regularly throughout the year and my job is demanding more and more consistency in my performance, I am realizing how critical it is now to get enough sleep. And I know I can totally relate. It can be very hard, even now as I try to maintain my sleep schedule, as I try to do better in my sleep routine. Because if you're like me, you feel as though there's just not enough hours in the day, especially after getting home from work or from school, and you just want to spend as many hours as you can, as many hours as that you have left of the day to enjoy yourself. Whether that's eating, playing video games, watching YouTube, or just going through your favorite TV series. And when you've been stuck with this habit for so long, it can be very hard to convince yourself to start changing your sleep schedule. So, in this episode, I want to share with you guys 4 ways that I've discovered how sleep is seriously underrated and how it can very much change your life in every aspect. Okay, so let's start off with number 1. The first one that I really want to talk about most, this is the one that stands out to me the most, is mental clarity. Now, I notice this one, the most as soon as I get a good night's sleep. And if you are like me, where your job demands close to 100% performance consistently, sometimes even 110%, you will appreciate this one the most because it's almost like a magic pill. You become more aware, more alert. Words come to you more naturally. You will speak above average, your everyday articulations, and your thoughts will already be well organized and formulated as you speak. If you've ever watched a movie, called Limitless, the movie called Limitless, where the protagonist has this access to a pill that just boosts your mental capacity, this movie is what I always think of whenever I get a good night's sleep. It feels just like that. Your mind just seems to switch on, and then things get processed automatically with less effort, making connections and then learning things at a faster pace. And you're also able to maintain longer focus. Now, whenever I don't get enough sleep, I now notice a very sharp contrast, right? Brain fog looms over me. I feel sluggish. I feel unmotivated. I lose my train of thoughts, after 2 or 3 seconds into my speech. And I do not like that version of myself at all. Now, if you've been accustomed to less than 7 hours or even sub 6 hours of sleep for a very long time, I can tell you from experience that you may already forget what it feels like to have a good night's sleep. Don't just take my word for it, but see for yourself how much of a difference it makes, all right? Now, the second point that I want to talk about, and this is also a big one, is that it significantly lower anxiety. Now, I believe we all inherently have some level of anxiety, which can be exacerbated, especially in today's era, because of all the technologies, the smartphones, the iPads, by overwhelming us with too much information at our fingertips, constantly reminding us of the tasks, the meetings, not to mention the potential social pressures from all the wonderful posts by our friends on social media. And for me, on a regular basis, especially during weekends, I often feel like there are too many things going on, especially at work, that it's taking more and more effort for me to pick myself up in the morning to start the day. And everyday routine just now becomes dreadful It's a dreadful cycle now, everyday routine, and life just doesn't seem fun anymore. And that is until I started getting 1 or 2 days of good night's sleep. And honestly, it feels like I'm seeing the same things through a different filter. Now, things seem manageable. I mean, it's not like the stress just, magically disappear. It's still there, but it is somehow managed and kept at a healthy level. So more as a driving force rather than this complete demotivation and making you not want to do anything. And most of all is that I feel like I'm more grounded in the present. And I really think that this is the main contributor because anxiety often stems from dwelling in the past or worrying about the future. Being present allows me to focus on what is happening around me and enables me to prioritize what needs to be done each day. And if some things just don't work out, at least I have the comfort of knowing that I have done everything within my control already. That's what's important, the things that you can control. And that there will be no regrets. And I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that depriving myself of a full night's sleep, at least, for me, it's 7.5 hours, can easily become the gateway to depression. And I realized for people suffering from depression that it becomes a perpetuating cycle where you could not get enough sleep and then you wake up, continuing to feel worse, and then it makes you even more difficult to fall asleep the next day. So getting a good night's sleep is one of the best medicines you can prescribe for yourself. Now, the third one is actually very closely related to the previous one, but I think that this one is worth discussing as a separate point, and that is that life becomes very enjoyable. I can definitely relate to many of us who have a routine 9-to-5 job and feel like we don't have enough time to do the things that we love, the things that relax us, to have our personal time and be able to pursue our side projects or just do what we'd like to do, our hobbies. And the most common decision that we all end up making is that I'm going to sacrifice a few sleeping hours to stay up late to do what I want. And I have to say, it's an understandably fair choice. Otherwise, you may feel like your whole life is only work and that you don't get to live your life. However, from years of experience of staying up late and having discovered the magical power of sleep, I have acquired a new perspective on this. Now, I would rather make, sacrifices, for those few hours of staying up late to get proper night's sleep, just so that I feel very good every waking hour of the next day. It now makes no sense for me to binge a few hours on anything, late into the night, because I realize now that I will ruin the next 12 to 16 hours of the next day. And having a good night's sleep allows me to actually enjoy my day now, without feeling like I'm missing out, because my mind is snappier, I'm more sociable, and I'm even able to spare more time for something else just because I will become more productive. And staying up late just isn't a trade-off that makes sense anymore. Once you start getting enough hours in your sleep, life will become much more enjoyable for you and you'll start seeing values in your work. Or at least you will see things clearer so that you can make better decisions going forward, to change things for the better. Perhaps it's about finding a new job or starting a new routine or starting any new initiatives. Now, the fourth one, this is a short one, it's a final one, it's like a bonus, is that you will just become healthier. And speaking from experience, if you're looking to lose weight, I highly recommend that you start improving your sleeping schedule. It's like a cheat code for losing weight. You will have less craving and your body will better regulate your energy better and more efficiently. So it's like shooting down two birds with one stone. You just eat less, but you feel more full. And your body just manages those energy intake much better into the night as you don't store them as fat as much. Now, I'm not an expert on this, so I highly recommend you look more into this, but I can speak from experience that it definitely does work if you're looking to lose weight and you just feel more fresh and much more, healthy. So those are the 4 main reasons why sleep is often seriously underrated that I've discovered from my own personal experience. And if you're interested more on this topic, if you'd like to learn more, I highly recommend that you check a book and YouTube videos of a guy named Matthew Walker. He is a scientist and a professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California. And he talks about this in more detail. He was also once on the Joe Rogan podcast, so that's also a good episode to check out. And he's published a book called Why We Sleep. So I hope I've convinced you on how you should start getting better sleep today now to experience all of these results that I talk about for yourself. And maybe in one of the future episodes, I can get into some tips and tricks as well on how to start building a better sleep routine for yourself so that you can actually start getting better sleep. Because a lot of times it's not just about going to bed early, but it's also a lot of things, habit here and there, that could really help you get better sleep at night. So that's been it for this episode. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.